Aloha, everybody. I know this is an unexpected development, but I am here to have not live coaching today, but we didn't have enough time to change the description. But I am very excited to bring in Jack Kellogg. I wanted to have a conversation with Jack about his just wonderful journey with his success. And I wanted to see if he would just share some of what he has just lived through, which is just so incredibly inspiring and impressive. So, my hope is that you guys will be able to ask Jack questions and be able to just, really seek out what is his whole journey through this process, which obviously is going to transcend just this past week. This is about years of his effort and work. And that is what I want everybody here to realize. But I think Jack will do it himself. He will give it the clarity that you guys, I know, are wanting. So let me just make sure I have given Jack the exact right code to come into this call, and he will not be able to be on camera, but he will be here nonetheless by audio. And let me just make sure. Yeah. So click on that link and I'll email it to you. So, as some of you may or may not know, Jack has had just a phenomenal week. And I been, of course, just paying attention and just was like, oh, wow, it would be fantastic for him to come into a conversation where he can just talk about what it's been like for him. And that's ultimately why I wanted to put this space together. So I'm just sending it to him by email too, just in case he's on his computer and not his phone. Okay, here is the link. Okay, let's see if we got that right. All right, so Jack, if you're listening, you'll just click that link, you'll come in, you don't have to put on the camera, and we'll be able to hopefully take questions. So traders, those who are listening, who are paying attention to these kinds of activities, I want you to be very intentional about the questions you're going to ask Jack, because look, when things are in the middle of unfolding, that is the most important time for you to pay attention. There has been so much volatility. And the key is, I want all of the traders who are here today listening to this to really come to terms with what is here for you to learn. What is here for you to improve upon? What is here for you to understand? Yes, from a technical standpoint, but also to be able to navigate what Jack has just navigated takes a tremendous emotional resilience and incredible ability to hold the space for big things. And I don't know that traders realize how important that quality is on the journey of being a trader. And I feel, of all the traders I've been fortunate enough to know and to work with, Jack has this ability to keep it so real and down to earth. He is able to articulate just how he does what he does in a very, very clear way. And that is why I wanted to have this conversation with him. And I'm so honored that he agreed to do it. I asked him actually yesterday. And then, of course, yesterday happened. So it was like yesterday morning, I think it was, when I reached out to him. So hopefully he'll be here as soon as he can get himself into this platform. And I would say right now, just think about whether you're crystal clear on all that's unfolded for Jack or not. I want you to think about, okay, what are the kinds of questions I do want to ask Jack? What are the kinds of questions that will help me improve where I am? Each trader is on their own journey, right? And you've got to realize that. You've got to realize that you have to be very careful. First of all, not only to who you're listening to, but also to realize that where you are on your journey as a trader is very unique to you, and to ask questions that allow you to be inspired and to be called forth. Because there's a lot of times where I see traders expect inappropriate things of themselves. And especially in times like these, I think it's very easy to get caught up in that. Hi, Jack. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're crystal clear.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for coming in here, especially after what had to be a very long day, if not a very bunch of long days.
Yeah, a bunch of very long days for sure.
Oh, I saw last night, late at night, that you were studying and preparing for today. So I wasn't sure if you were going to be up for it. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, I figured it would be good.
And
What is this? A stream or
it is. It's a restream, and so it's going out on X, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I think it goes out on a few platforms. Yeah,
okay, cool.
yeah.
Great.
But I wanted it to just, I didn't have time to change the live coaching thing, so I just like quickly had this set up because I just wanted. I feel too, Jack, the experience of it so fresh for you. It would be great to just have that captured. You're in the throes of it, right? I don't even know how today went for you. So what you could talk as little or as much as you want, but ultimately I was hoping you'd be able to just share, not just what just happened, which I'd like you to define for people, because I also don't want to misspeak of what you have done. But please just talk about what did happen to you this week with your trading and what was involved in you being able to do that for yourself, if that's comfortable for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm an open book, so whatever question you ask me, I can field it with
Great.
uh the best of my ability.
Good. Excellent. So tell us how you did this week, Jack, so
Yeah, I
far.
think uh I think I'm up like 2.2 million dollars this week so far, maybe 2.3 million.
Incredible. How does it feel, first of all?
Uh it feels good to capitalize on um finally feel like I fully capitalized on an opportunity. Um I didn't trade it perfect, but you'll never trade it perfect. And I'm just grateful to be able to finally have beaten my previous best week, which was in February 2021, which was like 1.3 million, 1.4 million. And it feels good to be able to know that you kind of still have it. You know what I mean?
I
After
do.
several years of not being able to get beyond what you had set for yourself.
Do you feel that this experience is something that has been building all of these years for what you've seen and
I
how you
mean,
responded to this?
yeah, I would say not really all of these years.
Mhm.
I mean, all these years in a sense, yes, but I would say just in the last 3, 4, 5 months is really when I've kind of taken this next leg of my journey, where I was kind of stuck in 2023 and 2024 just because I didn't really care all that much about succeeding a ton in the markets and just was focused on a lot of other things. But I felt like I had um, done a lot of stuff that I wanted to take care of outside of the markets, and then kind of coming back into taking trading a little bit more serious and finding a little more passion for it as of 6, 7, 8 months ago, and
Yep.
then kind of building on that structure and being able to take it farther than I did before because
Mhm.
I've set a lot of things up for myself that have allowed me to not be so attached to um, money and trading and just kind of doing and trading my strategy and system without, like I said, any of that attachment.
Yep. Do you feel that that time off is what facilitated your ability to be unattached?
Oh yeah, definitely. Got to put on the work in the outside, you know.
Yep, for sure, for sure. But it's just so when do you feel that you were seeing what was coming down? Do you feel that you were seeing this a couple of weeks out or a week out? When was it all kind of crystallizing for you that this was unfolding the way this past week has?
I would say kind of last week I was getting prepared for um, the trade and I kind of restarted in 2024 with a small account because I had invested my money in a lot of other things, bought a house, bought cars and car, truck, boat, stuff like that, and traveled and paid taxes and stuff. So I kind of restarted, and at that point, I had like passive income to pay for my lifestyle, and have already had paid all the big expenses off.
Hmm.
So I kind of saw it coming as I just kept building and building and building, and then we got just such a great opportunity where the market had crashed 20% on the SPY and 30% on, or 27% on the tech 100. And I just had seen this pattern before, seen this the market's down 27% on some tariff news, which is a lot of uncertainty, but it's not world ending. So I was able to have the right bias at the right spots and be able just to execute with the psychology and the pattern that presented itself.
What was that psychology for you as you're watching this all unfold? Uh, are you able to give us just like a window into your self talk and into your having the confidence uh, to move in this direction? What was that like?
Um, what was the question again? Sorry.
That's okay. Um, do you feel you had the confidence and the conviction and the stomach for it? Like, what was that psychological self talk for you as you were seeing what you presumably recognized as a pattern that you could run with?
Yeah, the psychology was just that I had done really well over the last 6 months, and this event that was happening had a ton of liquidity in the market. Obviously, the overall markets were trading, billions and billions and billions of dollars. So my few $1 million position isn't gonna budge anything at all, and you can't necessarily say that with small caps or with other stocks because your position will kind of mess it up on certain sectors. So basically, just told myself that I was the small fish in this game, and I just took the pattern with all the buying power that I could, accepting the risk that of where I'd be wrong. And even if I was wrong, it's not like it was going to be detrimental to my career, to my profits over the last several months. And if I was right, I would be rewarded handsomely. And luckily, I bought the market 2 times in the perfect spot on Monday and Tuesday, and sold in the perfect spots as well. And it's really all it was.
I love, Jack, that you just spoke to how you were covering yourself, making sure that your risk was going to be appropriate for you. What has you be able to pay attention to that as often as you do?
Yeah, you always just got to think about your risk and your position that you are in life, and I think that's why a lot of people who start trading when they don't have their ducks in a row, in a sense. They struggle because if you're thinking too much about, if you're like, oh, if I lose this $2,000, I'm it's going to significantly impact my life, or whatever amount it is. I think the best trading really comes when you're having income on the outside of the market, and you have your life paid for, and it doesn't matter if you're up or down, whatever it is in the market. And that's not a sense of also like people who just have a ton of money and want to get into trading. It's not what I'm referring to. You need to be profitable for many years before you can kind of take this stance of risk and uncertainty. So that's kind of
Can
what I was thinking.
can you remind us how long you've been trading for, Jack?
Yeah, I started trading at the end of 2016, so it's been almost 8.5 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. And you also, as I recall, traded so many hours a day and a week.
Yeah, I used to trade all the time. Like I trade a lot less than I used to do, just because it's too much to be doing all day, every day, even though I love it so much. But you really just need to find balance in life, and the trading and finances and money is just one pillar in life. So yeah, I've just been able to not trade as much as I have, and also I'm profiting. I'm making bigger trades than I ever have before, just because I'm focused on uh, where I can take advantage with the huge opportunities and the huge volume, and not trying to squeeze every penny out of the market. Because when you try to squeeze every penny, you're overreaching and you're overstepping, and you're gonna end up hurting yourself.
So it feels like this is probably before your time, but there's a song by 38 Special that says, hold on loosely. And that's what it sounds like you have crafted the art of holding on, but loosely without being too attached to the have to, must, should.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it for sure.
What would you say were critical contributing factors to your ability to surf all that you surfed this week that perhaps years back before you really had this figured out, you would did you see temptations in this week that a younger version of you would have kind of been tempted by?
Yeah, I think back when I was younger, I was trading good and following my system, but I was also chasing dopamine a lot of the time and chasing the thrill. And I just feel like I'm not really uh, chasing the thrill of the markets anymore. I'm just being very casual about it, and uh, I don't. I used to make the mistake of always just trading so many different things all the time because I just love trading, and like I said, love the thrill of it. And now it's not about the thrill anymore. It's just about taking advantage of opportunities to grow my nest egg and grow my account and wealth through opportunities that I've studied over the years and really put time to learn the ins and outs of the game. And a few weeks ago, I didn't even place one trade the entire week, which I
Wow.
could never say that I had done before. A few years ago, I would never have done that, and now it's I just kind of take the opportunities as they come. And last week, I didn't trade too much either. It's really I saw kind of what Lance did too. Lance Breitstein was inspiring, that he had his best year ever last year, and he only took a very small amount of trades. And I just really realized that that is the key, and it's also who you surround yourself with too. There's a lot of people out there that are just very, very addicted to trading and very addicted to trading all the time and trading everything, and that's not what I want to be anymore. I'd rather expend my energy on different things. Like if there's a trade where I'm going to make or lose 10,000 and it's a coin flip, I'd rather just go for a walk, go golfing, go fishing, um, go hang, literally do anything else, go out to eat, whatever it is, versus just sitting there and taking some low odds bullshit trade So when I see a good trade, I'm willing to risk way more, and I'm also willing to stay calm because I'm not chasing the dopamine. I'm not chasing the thrill. I'm just taking the trade that's presented in front of me.
For the traders who are inspired by you and are learning from you, what I think it's a delicate balance after 8 years of you putting so much effort into pattern recognition, into learning that the dopamine was even influencing trades at some point in your life. What is the advice to those who perhaps don't quite have that pattern recognition level yet, and yet hear that sense of wanting to have a balance between their trading and their life? One has to work hard, but how does one kind of manage that balance? Any thoughts on what to point them towards for themselves?
Yeah, so you're just kind of asking how to manage a balance of not overworking and yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I would just suggest like you break your day up in certain times. So I think that's been the main thing for me is I it's not necessarily like I schedule my day, but I have certain things I do at certain hours of the day. And before it would just be wake up, just trade all day, and then trade as much as I can until I just physically can't trade anymore. And now I kind of have a different schedule where I'll wake up, do certain things, make my coffee, go outside, go for a walk, talk with people who are renovating my house, just like certain things like that. Make phone calls, look at the market a little bit, do a couple things on the computer, um, and then work out around 11 or noon or whatever it is. Uh, And if there's no trades, then go do something fun, meet up with some friends or whatever it is. And you just got to set certain time boundaries that you allow yourself to put into the market, I think is the most certain thing, because I know that I have a problem where I would just do trading all day, and before you know it, your day's gone and you're just so exhausted um, from just trading all day.
Absolutely. And I think that is, it even what you have done this week, especially because you haven't been trading this many hours. I can imagine your exhaustion even today is probably a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, I definitely say that this week I'm a little bit more. I mean, I'm definitely the most exhausted I've been in at least I was pretty exhausted in February because there's a lot of opportunities then too. But yeah, this week I've been really exhausted. I didn't trade too much last week, so it's
That's
also
good.
the thing too is you have less tolerance too, which also kind of
Yeah.
helps keep you away because my tolerance is a little bit limited right now. So
Yep.
only push so hard. Once you get in the habitual grinding stage, you are able to push harder, but it's also harder to get away and do other things too because you're just so used to doing one thing. So
Yep, for sure.
yeah, definitely tired this week.
What, if you're comfortable sharing, what was the core setup or strategy behind this week? If you're okay talking about that.
Yeah, I was just studying the market and what happens when it crashes significantly like this. I mean, we were down from 4-2, it gapped down, panicked 4-3, gapped down, panicked 4-4, and then over the weekend it gapped down again. So that was the first trade, was buying it after the SPY was down 4% 2 days in a row. And if you look at the stats on how the SPY performs after that type of sell off, it's very positive. So I was able to go long on the market on Monday morning, and we got a nice bounce, and then Mr. Trump helped with, I think, fake news that they were going to pause for 90 days, and the market really spiked very hard, and I was able to sell into the previous day resistance where I was planning to sell. And then the other trade was pretty much the same thing as they came out and said that China was going to retaliate with tariffs, but Trump tweeted that it was a good time to buy, and he ended up actually pausing the tariffs for 90 days, and we did the real spike, which was even more aggressive. And Yeah, it was just capturing those two big bounces on the market, which were two very historic bounces. You don't see that type of bounce on the market. And then, like I said, the liquidity that these trades offered were, you could have basically just done as much size as you wanted to. So I was comfortable betting big because uh, I knew my risk really wasn't that much because I could get out whenever I wanted. Versus a lot of these other trades on small caps and options and stuff are a lot more liquid, and you're not able to really size and trust the stock. So yeah, it was just trusting that the market would bounce. And like I said, I don't think that the world was ending over tariffs. I think it was just a lot of uncertainty, and we sold off. I think way too much for really what it was. I do think we were overbought a lot, but a lot of people really started panicking and reading a lot of the emotions on Twitter, reading a lot of the emotions from my friends. Everybody was, saying, "Oh, this is going to be the Great Depression," blah blah blah. Everybody's talking about it, even when I go out in public, how bad the economy is, this and that, and that's
Yeah.
just when you know that it's really approaching this max fear type environment. And yeah, I mean, maybe we do go lower, but definitely this week we were down so much that it was like we're going to have some type of relief rally, if not be the actual bottom that is going to sustain for a couple of months to come.
I really am hearing your big picture thinking, Jack, at how you were taking in all this information that wasn't necessarily just reflected in the charts. You were hearing the man on the street weigh in and realizing that that was a signal. What do you attribute to your ability to hear these signals that perhaps other traders aren't paying attention to?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have these certain opinions on the market. I think there was really two. There's two different types of traders, right? There's traders that manage more money than me, and they manage a lot more. And a lot of them usually use a lot of leverage, and I think that those people really got hurt the most because the market just panicked and they have a ton of exposure on the market, and just kind of seeing how they think and how fearful they are, and then also kind of seeing how the smaller guys who don't really have enough money to be dip buying for a 10, 15, 20% move to really move the needle, and just kind of seeing kind of what they were saying too. And I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle, and those are the people that were really able to take advantage. I know a couple of my other friends who are a little bit more private, they also did really really well on this move, and it was just being able to stay fresh and see the opportunity that was in front of you versus um, either one panicking or two just everyone just wanted to talk about it, but where was the actual edge in the trade? And it was this week on these monster dips.
Were there any moments this week where you thought you were wrong or made you stay in or get out?
um I questioned myself a couple of times, but then I would just kind of read what I wrote down over the weekend when the market wasn't open. That's what I like to do is if I have a big trade idea or a big trade plan, I'll write down the why on why I'm convicted. And if I start to get any doubts, like because you can get doubts through price action and watching level two and just sitting there and watching your P&L go up and down. But I refer to my notes on, this is a good opportunity, and the market always bounces back every single time. So need to stick to my guns, and definitely had questioned myself a couple times, but never really ever sold or did anything different or panicked. I just stuck to my trade plan.
The thing I can't help but really notice about your voice, although I know you're tired, I don't hear you in this place of like over excitement. That tells me your ego isn't like all jacked up. How is that possible, Jack? How do you keep yourself grounded the way you are grounded, even in this conversation?
Yeah, that's a good question, I would say, because when I tell people like, "Hey, this is what I did," or I tell my mom or whatever it is, I just don't feel like the ego or the dopamine for whatever reason, because I think I just burnt it out over the years. I felt it too many times, and it expends just so much energy to feel that way. Like it's such a hard hit. It's like a drug. Like you feel so good for a little bit, but then when you crash, like you burn out so bad, and then you feel really good for a little bit, but then you're gonna feel sad for much longer, because you're trying to chase to where you were.
Yeah,
And I know that I don't want to chase to where I was, because this was a very specific opportunity. And unless the market crashes another 20-30% with a few red days in a row, like I'm not going to get this opportunity again. So there's no reason to be overly excited about it. Just be satisfied and be happy and be grateful for the opportunity, and be happy you didn't mess it up, um, and you had your best week. So just enjoy, sit back, and take stress off. You don't need to be making a ton of money next week or the week after. Like everything's good, and if an opportunity presents itself, take it, and if not, then that's it.
yeah. I won't keep you much longer because I want you to get some rest. But I also noticed this week the haters, that you received on X. And I also saw one of your tweets where you were like, people like calm down. You were just like, but that too, it sounds like you saw that as a signal, those who were hating on you. How do you cope with that when, especially in the middle of this kind of week? How do you navigate that for yourself on the inside?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. That's one thing I'm still working on. Is I like the haters. When they doubt me, because it just that fires me up more than anything. Like, not this profits are cool and all, but I like the haters really fire me up when I have an idea I really believe in,
Yeah,
and I love to show them why I believe in the idea. And yeah, it's just great to be rewarded by it. And I don't necessarily need to be right, but
yeah,
it's great when I am able to prove the haters wrong. I think that's where I'm still trying to work on myself, and not
yeah.
uh, let the haters get to me so much. But I love proving people wrong more than the profits.
So, what do you feel that people misunderstand most about your success, about what you've been able to create, not just this week, but in these 8 years? What do you think most don't see that has really contributed to your success?
Yeah, I just think a lot of people see a certain thing in the market, and they just like kind of people are just trendy, right? So if
Mm,
some cool kid wears some shoes or something to school or whatever it is, people just love to kind of follow the leader and do the same thing. And I think that's kind of what happens in the market too. Is people kind of just see all the fear, see all the hate and all this stuff, and they just kind of follow it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's holding a lot of people back, is they don't take time to think for themselves, and they let too many other people impact their thoughts.
And Jack, how do you determine or have determined for yourself who to listen to? Is there just even a simple sort of criteria you use yourself for who to listen to? Because you are listening to the haters, but in a way that allows you to take value out of that, to fire you up, to test that what you're saying you do believe in. So, what are the metrics for those that you will be informed by? Uh,
Yeah, you just got to see where everybody is, right? So, um, you got to see what everyone's doing, and it's hard to really take anything from one people who aren't transparent. So I
Mm,
try to stay away from people that are very non-transparent or they're very shy because I think it's very hard to learn anything from them and talk to them about anything, and they'll just kind of tell you what they'll just tell you what they want to tell you in a
mm.
sense.
Yep.
And I like talking to the people who are real,
Yeah.
and I just try to reverse one. If I'm talking to real people, I try to reverse engineer what they're thinking if they're in a bad spot, and if they're really hot, I try to kind of add that to my conviction and kind of follow along in a sense. So uh, yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. I'm going to let you go. Go get some sleep,
All
Jack.
right, almost my bedtime.
Congratulations. And I am just so inspired by how grounded you are in this conversation and throughout. You're just a very remarkable human being, Jack. You really are.
All right, Kim, thank you so much. It's great to catch up with you.
You too, honey. Okay, take good care. Aloha
Okay,
for now. Thank you
okay, good
again,
night.
Jack. Good night. Sleep well. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. I was hoping to get more questions from all of you, but it could be that you're all tired as well. And I just wanted to have a few minutes for you guys to just hear from a trader that I know so many of you want to emulate. So I hope this was valuable for all of you. And I'll say a hui